Nobody knows how long bells have been rung in Coaley Church, but the tower has existed since the 15th century. In the early days of bells, they were mostly used by monasteries to call monks into services and to carry out their other duties. But bells were soon adopted for secular purposes, which included things like the ringing of church bells would disperse thunderclouds, ringing in reverse to announce that there was a fire in the locality, or to frighten away evil spirits. A new set of bells were cast in Gloucester in 1845, and it is the same bells that are still there today. In 2003, they were rehung with considerable help from local volunteers.
So here we have a scale model of the bells that you would typically see in any church tower. We've got a frame around the outside. We have the wheel on the side, which holds the bell. Inside the bell is the clapper, and then we have this piece of wood here. When the bells are ringing normally, it would be used to hold the bell in different positions. That's called the stay. The bells would start in the up position, so that bell is now being held by the stay. You pull on the rope, the clapper strikes the bell, that bell then comes up to the other side and is held there. And as you pull that in different rhythms, in different orders, that then makes the whole of the bell chime, and you get the music that you hear every Sunday morning.
When we begin ringing, the bells sound in the order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look 2, treble's going, she's gone. The joy of ringing is mixing up the order of the bells. This is called call changes. One of the ringers will act as the conductor, and they will instruct the bells in what to do.
So here we have the Coaley handbell group, and what we're going to do is visualise church bell changes and ringing using the handbells, so that you can see what happens when we do call changes to change the sequence of the bells. We start off in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of the most common names for a sequence is called Queens, which is when the bells ring 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. So that's what we're going to demonstrate now with the handbells, is we'll ring the changes to get to Queens. Two to 3. 4 to 5, 2 to 5,
Of course, we don't physically change positions. We do it by holding the rope up for a moment, which allows another bell in the sequence to ring slightly before us. We tend to follow eye line so that other ringers know where we are in the sequence. What we'll do now is ring Queens. Look 2, Trouble's going. She's gone.
My story begins with going to church in another diocese, and I always went to church early just to have some quiet time before the worship began, and I was approached by the tower captain, and he said, "You're always here early. Why don't you come up and learn to ring bells?" So I did, and the bells have always taken a pride of place in my experience of the church. The 5-minute bell is the last before worship. It rings out through the village with bold sound, and you can hear that in Longfellow's poem. The bells themselves are the best of preachers. Their brazen lips are learned teachers. The clangorous clapper is the tongue, this way, that way, beaten and swung, that from the mouth of brass as from mouth of gold may be taught the testaments, new and old. And the wheel wherewith it is swayed and rung is the mind of man, that round and round swings and maketh the tongue to sound. And the rope, with its twisted cordage 3, denoteth the scriptural trinity of morals and symbols and history. And the upward and downward motions show that we touch upon matters high and low.
There is another style of ringing called method ringing. This is where the ringers memorise a sequence to follow. Quite often, here in Coaley, we ring methods that are named after local places. Now, though, we're going to ring plain bob doubles. Look 2, trouble's going.
Yes, no, yes, this helps. Here we go, look at that, as if by magic.
So I took up bell ringing because my younger sister, who was 9 at the time, said they were getting short of bell ringers at our local tower in the village, and so that's why I started bell ringing. And also my sister, who was 2 years younger than her, started. So we had the Gibson sisters, were half the band at Silverdale in North Lancashire.
I got into bell ringing. I had a friend in the village where I grew up over in Kent, and he was very good friends with my family and more my grandmother. And when I would walk from my house to my grandmother's house with the village, it went past his house, and he'd come up, whatever he was doing, gardening, with a tape measure. And one day when he decided I was tall enough, I was encouraged strongly by him and my family to come and join the church bell ringing, and did that on one of the practice evenings, took up the Sunday morning, and then I've then taken that with me as I've moved around the country and settled here.
So if you'd like to learn some more, we practice from 7:30 at the church on a Wednesday evening, and then from 9 o'clock we're at the pub. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.